Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by Fans for Fans. This is your host Cody Potter. How y'all doing today? We're going to talk about our Day 4 Senior Bowl highlight player. Kind of go over the first 2 days of practice. We're heading into Saturday's game. It's doing exactly what it always does. Players step up, man. All these players are really, really good. That's why they get invited here. These NFL teams really want to see a second look at some of these guys. Really, really bright, talented players, man. And honestly, I've said it all year, man. If there is a year to need defense in the draft, this is the year to need defense in the draft, because you're going to find guys in round 2, 3, 4 that would normally not be available as far as talent. If you ask me, as far as defense, whether it's defensive backs, secondary, safety, I love the safety class. We're going to highlight it a little bit here. I'm all over it, man. So I'm just gonna get this going under the way, man. So one of the players I'm highlighting is Bud Clark, TCU safety. Man, like this play right here, it's crisp coming for the safety, man. Just good break on the ball. Look at the size, the speed. Man, like the guy played back end safety. He was really good at free safety. He's a huge guy. They moved him into the box. Man, he can tackle. He is a guy that is very comfortable in the box. He is a guy that you could match up on tight ends. The size, the way he comes up, plays the run, everything you want from the strong safety position. I will probably be real with you, man. As much as I love Caleb Downs, I think Caleb Downs is one of the smartest football players that you're ever going to see on the back end on the field. I would not be upset with that pick, but if I'm scouting the team, if I'm scouting what you want from the position, was always thrived for the position under a Dan Quinn style defense, even if we're looking more at Durante Jones, the attacking style of defense, man. What you need is a strong safety that can cover tight ends. You need a strong safety that has coverage ability, but you need a safety that's going to come up and bring it. Harrison Smith, we've seen him do it, and that's what Harrison Smith has been known for. Dan Quinn, his defense is being their best, man. When I think about schematically, Bud Clark is probably the best fit, is if I'm just breaking it down. I mean, when you're talking top 10, you're talking scheme diverse players. You better be if you're picking in the top 10. Like, basically, I cannot go wrong with this guy. Whether he is a perfect fit for my defense or he's not a perfect fit for my defense, we can still accentuate his skill set in it. And honestly, if you're picking in the top 10 and you're picking a safety, man, he better be able to transcend the position for you. So if you're going Caleb Downs, I don't disagree with the pick. There is some physical things that I prefer, which Bud Clark gives you. But is Bud Clark Caleb Downs? No. But I tell you what, if you went Sonny Styles at 7 and this guy was sitting somehow available, which honestly I don't know. Is safety such a weird position to predict? Honestly, I think he's a second round player all the way. He could even sneak into the first. I think he is that good. But of course, just because I think he's that good because he's a perfect scheme fit and I love the way he plays, that doesn't mean he's going to go in the first round, even though I could see it, because honestly, he has that type of grade for me. The other thing is like linebacker in this class, deep. It's one of the deepest position, man. If you're watching these Senior Bowl practices, man, it's very, very obvious to you that this Oklahoma linebacker, man, Owen Heineke, man, this boy can play. This boy knows exactly what the play is in slow motion for him, man. This guy knows how to shoot gaps, knows how to find the gaps, he just knows what is going on in front of him. I'm very curious to see how he does in the game, because one thing I noticed about Oklahoma's defense, man, there is no hole in that second end of that defense. Like, that's sideline to sideline is covered, and Owen Heineke, what I'm seeing in practice, it makes sense, because honestly, everybody that I watched at Oklahoma, everybody that I was checking off grades for, I couldn't even keep up. When I go play by play, I tally numbers as I'm watching the game. That's how I scout. Watching Oklahoma's defense, man, like when you think about the gap responsibility for what's available along the play, man, I'm checking off like 5 or 6 players on some plays at one time, which honestly makes it really, really hard to do. I mean, that was a 3-level defense, man. They have an attitude and they fly to the ball. Owen Heineke is going to have some measurement limitations. Like, honestly, dude, you get that guy in the mid-rounds, second, third, whatever. Wherever he goes, some team's getting a smart, really high IQ football player. Just everything I saw from him at Oklahoma. He was probably the one player who needed this format the best to get away from just having, an all-around talented SEC defense. Of course, this is an all-star format, but he is living up to it, and he looks super smooth, super dynamic. You can tell they're not going at 100% speed. He's letting up, but he is right there when the ball is there. Owen Heineke, he's definitely made himself quite a bit of money this week. Honestly, he was making it all season long anyway when you watch the Oklahoma defense. But you could say the same at practice for Scooby Williams. Scooby Williams is that dude. Kyle Luis, the linebacker, had a pit. He was a guy that I really wanted to see a little bit more. I think come game time, we're going to see that guy pop out a little bit. I really, really liked him at Pittsburgh. A little bit smaller, though. I think he might even have to find his way back in on the safety, but I think running is going to be really important for the combine for him. But, honestly, dude, just Jack Kelly, BYU. Everybody knows what Jacob Rodriguez did at Texas Tech this year. Just super, really good, really instinctual. And, like I said, I haven't even gotten to Bryce Bouchers, the Oregon linebacker, who I was really, really high on. I've mentioned him a couple times here on the pod as the season was going on. Just another second-level player that's really, really, really good. Like I said, we've talked all this. We haven't even talked the corners. We haven't even talked really about many of the safeties that are here. But, you got Kamari Ramsey, the USC safety. He's a little bit more free for me. Plays really good over the top. I think he can improve a little bit on his attack and his tackling ability. But as far as the football IQ and knowing where to be, he's got all that under wraps. A really, really good football player. I've mentioned him a bunch of times. And then you got Michael Taft, who was a walk-on. Plays at Texas, man. This guy is super smart, super instinctual. That's what I'm saying. Like, when the first round is over, you get past the guys with the high upside, the high weight speed, all these things, and all the measurables that are going to find their way up into it because they're going to blow up the combine and do all those things. Certain guys are going to get reached on because of height, weight, speed. I'm telling you, when you get to the second, third, fourth round, man, some of these football IQ guys, man, these guys are super smart. And the Senior Bowl they did it. They did a job, man. Like, honestly, I had already talked about Ephesians Price-Hawk. He looks really good in off coverage. You can tell it when they do the one-on-ones with certain smaller guys. I saw some of the limitations that he's going to have from a hip perspective. It's like just turning and run, playing in tight quarters and things like that. Like, he's not a slot cornerback. That's not what he is. So when you line him up in the slot, you saw some of the things when he was covering Aaron Anderson from LSU, things like that in some of the drills. But man, like, the defensive class, like I said, I can't get enough of this defensive class. It's everything that you want it to be, man. From the edge rusher position, from the defensive tackle position, whether we're talking Lee Hunter, we're talking McDonald of Ohio State defensive tackle. The players from Oregon, you got Banks from Florida who didn't even play this year. Just there's some dudes. There's some dudes, and then there's Dominique Orange from Iowa State, big physical. Can play the nose in a three-man front, play the over the tackle technique, over the center technique or whatever in the 4-3 man. I really like what this defensive class is going to be. I do got to give some flowers. To Fields, the wide receiver from Notre Dame, and that was a hell of a catch. Malachi Fields, man, real tall, big body wide receiver, man. I think this guy has a really bright future in the NFL. He's never going to be an elite level separator. It's just not who he is. But man, just gets down the field. He has some burst. He has a little bit of, long track speed. That catch over it was over the shoulder and head and just diving out, reaching forward, plucked the ball in, pulled it into his body. Lewis Bond, the Boston College wide receiver, he's a shifty guy. I don't think he has the twitched up ability that, Isaiah Flowers had, man, but this guy can play football. Another guy that's really, really kind of been lighting it up for me was Ted Hurst, man. You can see the speed. You can definitely see the speed. You can see the frame, and he's pretty twitched up for a guy that's 6'3". I'm telling you, man, you want a big wide receiver in this class. They're there. Jacoby Lane, I think he needs some time. There's just like I said, man, Malachi Fields just a big dude. Then you got Brazzell from Tennessee, who's not even in this. Trust me, dude. There's some big, tall fast wide receivers that are pretty, rocked up, and they move pretty well. And then just honestly, really, really good class. Offensive line, the Rutledge brothers, man. Last year, Rutledge was here, man. He was tearing it up. His younger brothers here this year. Both of them playing on the right side at the guard position. They're really, really, really good and effective. You got Brock Meyer, the Miami U offensive center, man. He's really made himself some money up in here too, and he's been going up against, he's going to be going up against the likes of like Lee Hunter in this game, man. So everybody that has been making a name for themselves in these practice reps, man, you're going to start seeing them line up against the other guys that we've been talking about all week, and it's going to be a really, really fun matchup here on Saturday, man. This is everything that you want to see from the Senior Bowl. A lot of these guys are really elevating their draft stock, man, and they're really actually just solidifying it, because if you do the scouting all year, put in the work, you watch all these college football games, man, these are the guys that are sticking out every week. And some of these guys aren't the ones that are guaranteed first rounders. I mean, you have some first rounders here, and they show it. TJ Parker, he's been a first round guy for me. I mean, no matter what was going on in the season, there were just a couple constants that I kept saying. It didn't really matter who everybody was talking about, like all the mock drafts, man. You have Keldrick Falk, you have all these guys, you have all these edge players that are going to go in the first round. And, because you're talking about all these guys, you're not talking about a big cluster of guys. There were a bunch of guys that I highlighted early in the year. I mean, I could have highlighted 25 edge rushers that were eligible for this draft. And honestly, they're in this draft, and they're all going to get underdrafted. Derek Moore, I mean, honestly, if this dude goes any later than round 2, I mean, that's crazily insane with his get off, the way that he sets the edge. He can set the edge in the run game. Can he refine that ability a little bit more? Of course he can. He's not a day one. He has the potential. He has all the things that you look for on the eye test to be a day one pick. He's probably going to get looked over just because of how deep this edge rusher class is, which is why I'm so high on Washington, on the Ruben Baines, or the David Bailey's of the world. I think David Bailey's going to test and blow up, the gym at the scouting combine, so I don't think David Bailey's going to necessarily be available to us. Honestly, there was a big part of the season where I was watching Ruben Bain, and I was just like, good Lord, would I love this guy on our team. I didn't expect our season to go the way that it did, but the fact that it did go the way that it did, we're actually in an area to take a guy like that. And I would run that card in. I love Ruben Bain. I think trading down is a very much an option too, just because of how talented this defensive class is over the course of the draft. I mean, if you're staring at Sonny Styles, make the pick. Unless you're blown away, you're getting a 1 next year or something like that, because there's not the quarterback rich class that that we just had in like 2024, things like that. We're typically having like 1 or 2 quarterbacks that are going pretty damn high. This class isn't really that class. Of course, next year really does look like it has the makings to be that normal type of class. So of course, we want to be a lot better than picking number 7 overall last year. We don't want to have a repeat season like this, man. There's going to be a lot more questions. It's just going to be a blown season. And honestly, that probably means something else happened to Jaden Daniels, and we don't want to have that either. So again, while you're down in this area, man, accept that the draft is actually going to meet all the biggest things that you need from this class. And at some point in the draft, whether it's your first round, your third round, your fifth round, whatever the pick is, you're going to be staring a really, really good defensive player right there. He's just going to be sitting there for you, who any other year would probably be a round or 2 higher, just because of how deep these positions are. And honestly, they're probably really, really good schematical fits as well. Man, if you can't fix the defense this year, you're overdrafting players, man, or you're just not even paying attention to the draft board, because it's going to be loaded. And I mean, that's not even considering what's going to be going on the offensive side of the ball. I think there is a little fall off on the top tier offensive line talent once you get past like the top 3 or 4 of them. Of course, I think the Penn State interior offensive guard is probably a guy that he's my highest graded offensive lineman overall in the draft. And then, Fanu, the Utah offensive tackle, I think he's going to test out of the gym. His tape is rock solid. I think he's going to go in the top 5. Same thing with the offensive tackle from Miami. And then, honestly, Bell, I think, has had a really good week settling in. Probably going to be a day 2 right tackle. for Miami University as well. So I think a lot of the offensive line question marks, I said it, I thought it was deep as over the course of watching this All-Star game, I'm seeing it like it's a deeper class than I think, but there is a little bit of a fall off from the elite level guys to what the second tier really is, but those second tier guys are still really, really good. It's just about when they start selecting that second tier. If that second tier starts getting selected around like the 28th pick or something like that in the draft, or maybe the 35th pick, 36th pick, it's going to start a run, and then you're going to start having the offensive linemen coming right back up. So again, just because there is a tier fall off from maybe like the first 4 guys that I think I have on my draft board, maybe 6 guys on most people's draft board, but I think even then there's still a little bit of a tier from the top 3 or 4 to the 5th, 6th guy, and then 8, 7, 8, and working on down. I think there's just a little bit of tier gap in that department. But again, I do think this is a good offensive line class. The trenches are gold, man. The trenches are gold for building a football team, man. If you can't protect your quarterback, or you can't get after the other team's quarterback, or stop the run on the way to them, it's hard, man. And you see these teams like Seattle, and you see these teams like Denver, you see the Bears, getting, the huge amount of takeaways in the game, and that impacting their season the way that it did. I mean, no matter what, Caleb Williams, when he was hot, when he was cold, them extra attempts at the ball, man, it made a difference for Chicago, man. Look, I mean, they went deep, and they honestly had a chance to. I mean, they were one play away from honestly probably winning the game and being in the NFC Championship game and making 4 quarterbacks from the same draft in the first round, all in the conference championship in their first 2 seasons, man. That would have been insane. I mean, that's just the level of quarterback play that, came out in that 2024 draft. Well, I mean, we said it back in that 2024 draft. So what we're talking about with this draft being, I'm just telling you, it's defensive loaded. Maybe you don't have the Myles Garrett. Maybe you don't have that, that Mario Williams. Maybe, whoever you want to say. I mean, blanking on his name, man. Went to the Texans to Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney, Chase Young. You might not have the Nick Bosa's of the world or anything like that, but I mean, dude, this draft class is there, man. Like, you're going to find a really, really good player at edge, and honestly, just because they don't have that grade coming out, it doesn't really mean anything, man. J.J. Watt went 11th, 12th, 13th overall. Aaron Donald. I mean, dude, these guys, trust me, they might not be what they become, and a lot of times that's the case, but there's a lot of play strength, there's a lot of burst, there's a lot of twist, and there's a lot of guys. I mean, honestly, out of all these edges that I'm scouting, there's only really 1 or 2 that I'm really not as high on as the consensus boards are, and that's just because I really do value, production and game tape. Like, does the production match what I'm seeing on tape? And there's only about 1 or 2 of them that I'm really kind of iffy on, but I'm not going to call them out, man, because I still see it. I still see the talent. They still flash on tape. It's consistency for me, and that's something that I'm really, really big on. That's why I watch so much football. But again, man, like I said, man, it's going to be a really, really good game Saturday. I'll have another player for you, even though we don't have a practice tomorrow for Friday. Tomorrow will be a quick show or something, unless the Commanders do something crazy. But other than that, yeah, I appreciate you guys sticking around for the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host, Cody Potter. Have a blessed